Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
Oh my god, he's so goddamn cool!
Conquest finally arrived on the show and everyone's talking about it, but since I already did a versus battle about, we got a different topic in mind. What if instead Ben scanned Conquest and became a Viltrumite Warrior? But first we gotta give some backstory on the Viltrumites. The Viltrumites are a race of people that thought we people were cringe and genocide is poggers, whatever that means. So they end up murdering half their species till only the strong survive, so they could be one super species. Then take over several other planets and make them a part of the Viltrumite Empire, until they got to deal with the space coronavirus and only have a bit over 50 full-blooded Viltrumites left. Anyways, what would happen if Ben scanned a Viltrumite? First, we have to deal with something that may be harmful to the Omnitrix, and that is the Viltrumite's DNA thing.
The older we get, the slower we age. Viltrumite DNA is so pure, you're nearly full-blooded.
Now, while this could be bad for other species, using the Omnitrix, it actually wouldn't do anything since the Omnitrix has a failsafe to stop possible mutations in DNA, or any DNA to affect other forms, shown by Ghost Freak.
It seems I cannot merge with your alien forms.
With that out, what about the actual power level of this form? With Viltrumites getting stronger as they age, and Mark being a hybrid Viltrumite being capable of taking on Conquest, the famous second strongest Viltrumite, yet he's only 19 by season 3. What I'm saying is that Ben's Viltrumite form would be both stronger and have more potential at a younger age than any Viltrumite, including Conquest and Invincible. Speaking of, how old would Ben's Viltrumite form be? 16, right? Well, not quite. You see, the Omnitrix grants the user a prime form of the species DNA scaled to the age of his lifespan. For example, Ben is 16, and let's say the average human lifespan is about 80 years old. This would mean that Ben has lived about 20% of his lifespan, which is why he doesn't decay into dust when he becomes Accelerate, despite the Concealant race only living for a couple of weeks. In turn, the Viltrumites live for thousands of years, with Omni-Man straight up being stated to live over 2,000 years. Even the older Viltrumites aren't even close to death by age, but it doesn't matter, we'll just lowball the Viltrumite's lifespan to 2,000 years. This would mean that Ben's Viltrumite form is at least 400 years old, which means he's over 381 years older than Mark, and would be much greater than both Conquest and Mark in terms of power and speed. In the comics, Mark, Nolan, and Thetis, while being helped, were capable of destroying a planet Viltrum, with calcs ranging from moon to small planetary, with a high end reaching large planetary to even star level. Yeah, pretty powerful alien. The Viltrumite form would also be much faster, scaling above traveling to other galaxies in the span of a week. Thanks to prime amps, the Omnitrix would also increase and amplify the power of the smart atoms and overall powers that the Viltrumite has access to. Viltrumites can survive heats of over 3,300 to 16 degrees Celsius to the colds of minus 115 degrees Celsius. They also have a very decent healing factor and high amounts of pain tolerance, allowing Viltrumites to fight with literal organs flapping out of the torso like, I don't know, a white girl on prom night, and be fine with a small period of healing, and could hold their breath for 2 weeks, allowing them to fly through space to different galaxies. But there's also another power that most people seem to forget that Viltrumites have, and that's the minor time dilation ability that allows Viltrumites to actually travel galaxies quicker. When using this, even slower Viltrumites can accomplish similar travel speeds. As well, thanks to smart atoms, allowing Viltrumites to get stronger after every fight, the Omnitrix would allow the form to enhance at a much faster and superior rate.
Over the last 90 days, Mark's speed has increased 65%, his endurance 70%, and his strength, and we checked this wasn't a mistake, 138%.
So not only is he already probably stronger than Thrag, but he's gonna grow at a much faster rate than the most... Yes, he grows fast, that's pretty much it. However, Viltrumites do have weaknesses. Despite being able to tank high temperatures, most Viltrumites cannot survive long under constant exposure to these high temperatures. As well, high frequency sounds can leave a Viltrumite paralyzed in pain and unable to fight back. But thanks to being the prime of the species and being physically more resistant, Ben's forms would be less vulnerable to such attacks. They are also capable of being poisoned and vulnerable to viruses capable of killing Viltrumites. However, the only virus capable of doing this is a virus that a specific bloodline of Viltrumites are immune to. No spoilers to who. Of course, this bloodline would more than likely be the sample Ben's transformation would be, basically meaning that Omnitrix would allow this kind of resistance against specific viruses like this. And finally, in a version of a Viltrumite predator, well, not really, the Rognars, a race capable of blitzing and killing Viltrumites. While Ben's forms would be much stronger than any canon Viltrumite, even Thrag struggled with one Ragnar. Now, he probably could beat a few of them, but not so much to where he would be. However, because we know of how the ultimate function works in Ben 10, supplying the species through 10 million years of constant threats and death, yeah, the ultimate Viltrumite would be too much for the species. It would be an insane level of power to be dealt with. But that's a video for another time. Anyways, 300 likes and I'll do the Saiyans next. Ben is 16, and let's say the average human lifespan. Viltrumites can survive heats of 3,316 Celsius. Viltrumites can survive heats of over...